Hello and welcome to another Office 365 Hours. My name is Christian Buckley. I'm the Brand Alliance Director here at AvePoint and a Microsoft MVP and Regional Director. And I'm joined today by Erica Toelle, a Senior Product Marketing Manager for Data Lifecycle and Records Management at Microsoft, as well as Stephanie Harth, a Senior Product Marketing Manager for Microsoft Purview at Microsoft. Good morning, Erica and Stephanie.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good morning. Glad to be here.
This is a good topic. A lot of people are asking questions about this. We get a lot of requests for more information and how is this impacting us? And so we're going to talk about what is Microsoft Purview and dig into the details here. So let's start with one simple question. What is Microsoft Purview?
Well, I'm happy to help take that. So Microsoft Purview, best way to think about it really is a portfolio of products. We have heard so much feedback from our customers, from partners, from even our own sellers, that the word compliance really wasn't resonating, that it means too many different things to too many different people, and that it really wasn't covering what we were offering within our portfolio. It is a part of our portfolio, but it was not the whole thing. And so as we looked to understand really how we talk about this space, we found that by bringing together the data governance capabilities that we had in what was formerly Azure Purview with our compliance and risk management solutions in Microsoft 365 Compliance, bringing those two components together into one unified set of solutions was a way for us to now offer to our customers how they can discover and protect and govern and manage their whole data estate. We, have always gotten questions, well, okay, you cover this on M365 or you cover this in Azure. What about the whole environment? And this is really our solution to that by bringing together all of these products to make sure that we're really providing that end-to-end visibility, no matter where their data lives.
And usually those same people, they're managing it in all of those different places. So it makes sense to bring it under one house. But one of the questions that I hear a lot is how Purview differs from like the existing experiences, or in other words, what is Purview not?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So we'll start with the obvious. Purview is not changing any licensing. It's not changing any of the products yet. I think the way to think about it is, Purview is kind of a new innovative category in the data governance and information governance. And what we wanted to do is put out the idea of Microsoft Purview so that we can have conversations with our customers about what the unified platform would help them accomplish, what are their top use cases. And it's kind of tough to do that until you've put your stake in the ground with the vision, with where you want to go. And so I think if you think of Microsoft Purview that way, rather than in terms of product changes and license changes, that's a better way to think about it. Stephanie, is that right?
You did, yeah. I mean, if you think of it, it's simply creating this shell of a bunch of different products that we have. And to Erica's point, our licensing and SKUs didn't change. We do have some product name updates, which I'm sure you've seen. And it's really just a way for us to rebrand and reposition ourselves in this space to say we're not just covering compliance over here and data governance over here. We're really covering risk management, compliance, information protection, data governance, all from one place to help, again, create that visibility across all of the data.
My next question I was going to ask was why did Microsoft create this brand? You've kind of gone into that, and it also makes me think of the categorization of like Viva covering all employee experience, and very different products, very different things that are within that. There will be capabilities that will stripe across those products, those offerings, but they'll have standalone capabilities. There will be new things introduced. Is it just a similar branding exercise as we saw there?
Yeah, I think you could consider it similar to that. what we've found, at least in the different research that we've done, is that the compliance and data governance audience is extremely fragmented, and so is the market landscape. There are tons of point solutions that help people, dig into very specific niche scenarios, but not something that really looks left to right across their holistic estate. And we've also found that our compliance work was really focused on like compliance risk, legal privacy officers, but not necessarily pulling in that data officer. And so the data officer was a very key persona from our Azure Purview side, which is the data governance piece. And so pulling them into the conversation and saying, you also have a seat at this table, that was something that really resonated with our customers, that said, we're having these internal meetings and that is who's here and that is someone that we need to be talking about. And we were totally missing that conversation by not bringing that element in. And additionally, I think that the main piece that we're trying to accomplish is this like integration and this comprehensiveness of the solutions, because most of our customers actually have 3 or more products that they use to help them address all of the challenges they face in this space. And so by pulling together all of that and making sure that we're really speaking to all of these different personas and addressing their specific needs and use cases, I think that just helps set us apart from what else is in the market, and really coming together with this new name is how we can sort of position ourselves to play in that. Because before we were very much, we're a compliance brand or we're a data governance brand. And so by changing this name, it shows that, these are all interrelated business issues that need to be addressed. And so I think it just gives us an advantage.
Well, that's a great point, because I think if you look, so from my observation, you look at chief security officers and what their scope is, their focus is generally everything except for the collaboration components. And then you have compliance people that own that aspect of it, when what they're trying to do is really part of the same larger story.
Totally.
And so this really does kind of bring those pieces together. Of course, really interested to see how some of that will work as it comes together. So what can we expect next? What's coming up?
Yeah, so
go ahead, Erica, you got it.
Yeah, I think first of all, we want to hear from you. What are your challenges around locating, protecting sensitive data, governing data, identifying who owns data, and applying policies? We want to know. We're listening. Second, I think it's really getting the next click down on this vision. There's been a lot of new regulations, especially around privacy. As you mentioned, the chief security officer, information security officer, they need to comply with these regulations. The regulations don't care if it's a collab platform or it's a data warehouse, right? You need to follow the same regulations. So what does that actually really look like when you start defining it from use case, workflow, and what that would look like in a tool when you go to code it? Nobody's figured this out yet, right? So we're kind of inventing a new space on how to do that. What else do you think is next, Stephanie?
Well, I do know that we will have some integrations coming up in the future between the 2 products. So between the E5 compliance suite and between our what was formerly Azure Purview. So you will start to see some of those connection points coming through. But it really is building on this vision. Like Erica said, this is going to require an enormous level of innovation and a lot of engineering work. And we're excited about, the future of data governance and compliance and how we can help address all of those concerns and challenges. But yes, to Erica's point, please tell us, because we are always, we want to get in front of this and not be reacting. So would love to hear anything that, you may feel would better help this product.
That's something that I find myself being a cheerleader for across the board with Microsoft products, and what people will bring up is like, well, but it doesn't do this, and the competitor does this other thing, which is really critical to my business. And the first thing I ask is like, well, who have you talked to at Microsoft about that? Well, we've right. So it's difficult to go for Microsoft to change, to understand the impact of some of these requests if people aren't providing that feedback. And so I just tell people, it's like, well, look, there's a few different places that you can go and look. Where do do your teams, where do you listen primarily? Like, how can people provide feedback? Do they need to be on a customer or a partner panel to be able to provide feedback? Do they have to be a Microsoft MVP to be heard? Or is there, are there places that they can go and provide their feedback?
I've been thinking about this a lot lately. So a couple things. Number one, there's no right or wrong way. There's different options available, whatever is easiest for you. So the most traditional way is to go through Microsoft support and file what's called a design change request. The product team definitely sees every one of those. And each time you file that type of official request, we're able to see, what would be the impact to your business if we created this feature. Because when we're looking at prioritizing features, it's impact in number of customers, right? So anytime we can gather that specificity is really helpful. Number two, we do have the new, is it customer voice, dynamic customer voice feature areas where anyone can log in, give feedback on teams, on the Purview products. If you don't have a way to file a support ticket, if you already own and use our products, we do have customer advisory boards that you could join. And then, of course, we have our ongoing engagement with MVPs. So if you already have an MVP that you have a good relationship with, or maybe you employ, of course, we listen to those channels as well. Stephanie, did I miss any, do you think?
I don't think so.
What about harassing the two of you via social channels?
I don't have Twitter, so you can go after Erica.
Well, yeah, more for Erica. But that's something that I just, again, don't be shy about providing. Look for the proper channel, especially if you're able to go into the dynamic side, if you're able to go in and look for other similar requests and jump on board those and add your feedback. Hey, this is also impacting my company. Obviously, if it's something that is, there's a deficiency in the feature set that's keeping you from being successful or moving from another product. We're stuck using some third-party tools, not because we want to, but because those features are not yet over in the Microsoft products. Provide that feedback associated with your account, exactly, so they can see like, hey, I realize that if you are an independent or a 3-person company, it doesn't have quite the impact as an enterprise with 20,000 customers or employees and affecting their business. But all of that is listened to. In fact, I'm always surprised when Microsoft, how few responses or upvotes on an issue, and Microsoft will respond. It's a pretty low barrier for Microsoft to go in there and formally look at it, review, and respond.
Absolutely. And if I could plug one thing.
Sure.
Helpful when people give feedback about the use case or the business problem that they're trying to solve, rather than designing how they would execute the feature in our tools. So it would be really helpful to know the business problem.
Yeah, that's kind of a key, like a business analyst function to go through. You can't just, here's what the new feature that I want to see is, let's run through the scenario. So be very descriptive. Here's what I'm trying to do. Here's the behavior I see. Here's what I'd like to see. This is why I need it this way. And it could be because a lot of those responses, especially when I do like user training, it's, well, were you aware of this other feature, or were you aware this is the way that we designed it? Will this actually, if you change this about your process, does that solve the need? So it's great to have that, again, that more holistic view of the problem that you're providing feedback on.
Absolutely.
So excellent. Well, I know there's a lot coming up. We'll definitely have both of you back in future months as releases come out. We'll do something before the end of the year, I'm sure, with so much that's happening there. So thank you again to Erica and Stephanie for joining for this office hours this morning. And for all of you watching, if you have not already done so, make sure that you go in and subscribe to Office Hours. You'll get all the notifications. The shows are on the first and third Wednesday morning, always at 11 a.m. Eastern. And of course, you can find everything out on YouTube. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, topics that you'd like to see, please reach out to me. I do respond to those social. I'm okay with getting those tweets, but definitely connect with us, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks.